Vishnu Vishnupada Srimad Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Radhikanu Guru Varga, and here in Shri Gopinath Puriyamath, the holy feet of Shri Srimad Nityananda Vishnu Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and to our present Acharya Bhakti Vibhuda Budai Maharaj, to all our Rupanu Guru Varga, praying for their causeless mercy, and to all the assembled Vaishnavis here, and praying for your causeless mercy also. So we're very fortunate to come to Sri Navadvip Dham, the holy abode of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and all his associates. Today we did Parikram in the Association of Loving Gaur Bhaktas, which is essential to be in Anagatya. If we are very advanced Vaishnava, we can roam everywhere ourselves, seeing Gaurdham and Mahaprabhu's manifestation and chanting. But generally for sadhakas, it's recommended that we be in the association of advanced devotees, especially Rasik, those who are tasting the mellows of bhakti, and then go to these different holy places. So today we went to Champahati, the birthplace of Jayadev Goswami, the place where he lived. Jayadev Goswami lived in the 12th century, 300 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Yet Gauranga Mahaprabhu chose especially his most beautiful book, Shri Gita Govinda, to hear continuously and relish in Gambhira in his last 18 years of his life in Jagannath Puri. Vikrama Kshetra Jagannath Puri is a special place of feeling separation from the Lord. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, even though he appeared in Navadvip here in Mayapur, he chose to go to Jagannath Puri and there relish these beautiful songs in Gita Govinda. So Jayadev Goswami, he is a Siddha Mahapurush, Mahabhagavat devotee, who composed this beautiful literature, beginning with Das Avatar Stotram. He started his composition explaining about the different incarnations of the Lord, and then gradually evolved it into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So he did such because Krishna and Krishna's manifestations, his Dham, his Nam, his different manifestations, are all transcendentally complete and perfect. And there's relishment in everything. So if we separately hear about, experience, and realize all of Krishna's different manifestations, all of his incarnations, then when we come to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, or reading Gita Govinda at one point in our evolution, isn't it? We can taste the sweetness of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Just like when we have a meal, we start with the dessert and have a big rasgulla, gulab jamun, cake, sweet rice, all the sweets. And then after that, you try to go and eat something bitter, rice, dal, sabji, we'll be backwards. But if we have our normal meal with the different 5, 6 different tastes, then in the end, you taste some sweet, and madhuriyena, some payat, and in the end, something sweet is very nice. So Jayadev Goswami particularly composed this Gita Govinda to take us somewhat systematically through that process, just like Vedavyas in Granth Srimad Bhagavatam, all the different cantos leading up to the 10th canto. So Jayadev, he first lived in Navadvip, and he was a poet in the king's court, Lakshman Singh. And when the king heard this beautiful composition, Pralaya prayoti jane jitavanasi vedam vihita vahitra charitamaki Keshavadrita Meena Sarira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. He was very enchanted. He wanted Jayadev Goswami to stay with him in his court. But Jayadev was a renunciate. He was a devotee. He wanted to, even though he was grihastha, he was completely detached. He didn't want to live in the association of so much worldly opulence, a king. So he wanted to go to live in Jagannath Puri. But somehow the king convinced him, Lakshman saying, to stay here, close to Navadvip. So he built him a place in Champahata. And he stayed there. And he started to write Gita Govinda. But then he had a vision of Radha and Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to go to Jagannath. Don't stay here. You should go to Jagannath Puri and stay there and worship me there. In the future, I will manifest in Navadvip, but I want you to do some service there. So what unfolded was he wrote Gita Govinda in Jagannath Puri. And we know the beautiful story about the Devi Dasis who were trained to sing and dance before Lord Jagannath and sing Gita Govinda. There was once a gardener outside the temple who had a daughter who had learned Gita Govinda and was singing in the garden. Do you know this story? Huh? You haven't heard?
No. He tried to impress.
Huh?
He tried to impress.
So she was singing while she was picking flowers and arranging the plants outside the Jagannath Puri temple. She was singing Gita Govinda, just a young lady. And Jagannath was so attracted by hearing this beautiful composition that the Lord himself came out of the temple and walked through the garden. And while he was doing that, some of the thorn bushes scratched his body and got his cloth dirty. And then he came back on the altar. And then when Maharaj Prataparuja came and the Pujaris came and they saw Jagannath's cloth was dirty, they were surprised, but they didn't know what happened. So that night in a dream to the Pujari, Jagannath revealed to them that I was so attracted to the singing of Gita Govinda that I was forced to leave. So from that day on, they started reciting Gita Govinda inside the temple. Jagannath doesn't have to go outside the temple. Jagannath's so attracted to hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna because he's like Dwarkadish Krishna. Jagannath Puri is like Dwarka. And Jagannath is desiring to remember and relish and hear the pastimes of Vrindavan. Always Krishna and Dwarka is thinking so much about the Brajvasis, even at night when he's sleeping with his dear queens, Rukmini, Satyabhama, his 16,108 queens, he's calling out the names of Brajvasis, especially Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka, and crying in his sleep. So the residents of Dwarka are very surprised. We're so beautiful, the queens are thinking, we're so qualified. We have so many decorations, beautiful ornaments, opulences. We serve the Lord with such attention, and yet the Lord is more attracted to some other women, simple cowherd girls in Vrindavan. So they were amazed. And then that leads to the whole pastime of Mother Rohini in Dwarka explaining about Braj Leela and how Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra came and listened, and then their eyes became large and their arms became shrunken. It's a long story. You all know the story. Manifestation of Jagannath in Dwarka. So I was meditating on Jayadev Goswami today because we went to this place. So now Krishna has arranged an opportunity to glorify Jayadev Goswami a little bit. So something else about his life. You know the pastime of Jayadev Goswami writing Gita Govinda. His wife, Padmavati, they were simple Brahmins, and he was getting revealed in his heart and mind these beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, especially separation pastimes and conjugal pastimes, kunja pastimes. So as he was writing Gita Govinda one day, what inspired in his heart was the pastime when Radhika went deep into man, jealous anger, because Krishna had promised to meet with her at a particular time in a particular kunj, and instead on the way Chandravali and her assistants diverted Krishna into her kunj. And Krishna became so enraptured in their association that he completely forgot about Radharani. The whole night passed. And finally, in the dawn, when Radharani's Sakhis are coming to search out where is Krishna, and Radharani's now becoming furious. Krishna was supposed to meet me, he's not here, where is he? Her Sakhis, her Manjaris went out to find. See, Krishna finally comes, and he has the marks of enjoying with another lover, and Radharani becomes very, very upset. And this famous painting that our Jadarani Shamarani painted, where Radharani's looking away, like this. Her veil is there, and she's looking away like that. And Krishna's trying to appease her and say so many sweet things. Oh my darling, you're my dearest, I love you the most. And where were you? Why you didn't come? You know, this is all transcendental Leela. Chandravali is actually a manifestation of Radharani, Radharani's sister. So the anti-party, so-called Vipaksha Gopis, there's Swapaksha Gopis, Vipaksha Gopis, Surit Gopis, and Tatasha Gopis. Swapaksha Gopi means Radharani's own group. Vipaksha Gopis means Chandravali and the other group, which is not favorable to Radharani, but very favorable towards Krishna. Then there's those who are Tatashta, who are favorable to both, and those who are Surit, those who are friendly with Radharani and neutral to Chandravali. So Radharani is now in Man, and Krishna is trying to appease her. And this is coming in Jayadev Goswami's heart. And what's coming is something that he never thought of before. He's seeing that Krishna is bowing down and asking Radharani to put her foot on his head. He's placing his foot at her feet, and he's asking her to please put your foot on my head. Becoming completely subjugated. Dear Lalita Nayika, he'll do anything to try to please his beloved. So Jayadev Goswami thought, this is not right. He's Bhagavan, the taster of all ras, but he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, he's Krishna, he's the enjoyer of all kinds of rasa, but still he would not do this. He would not subjugate himself to that extent to Radharani. So he decided not to write it. He put his pen down and he went to take bath in Ganga. While he was gone, what happened? Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself took the form of Jayadev Goswami, came to that house. He came in, and Padmavati said, oh, you just left. Why are you coming back? Oh, I forgot something. Where's my manuscript? She brought the manuscript. And Sri Krishna, in the form of Jayadev, writes the rest of what Jayadev couldn't write. Okay. Jayadev started Smaragaranam Kandanam Namasirasi Mandanam. Then he completed it with Dehi Parapalavam Udaram. The translation is, may the noble blossom of your foot be an ornament on my head, as it dispels the poison of love and separation. Gita Govinda 10:8. So, this is what Krishna wrote himself. Jayadev Goswami could not, he was inspired by Krishna to think of this, but he could not write it. So he put his pen down, he left. Now Krishna came in the guise of Jayadev, wrote the rest of this verse, and left. Shortly after that, Jayadev himself comes back, and Bhagavati says, oh, you just came back, and now you're gone, and now you're back again? What are you doing? And he says, what do you mean? You were just here, and you asked for the manuscript, and then you left, and now you're back. And he immediately went and opened up the book, looked at the manuscript, and he saw that Krishna himself had written the rest of this verse. His heart became so moved. Oh, my dear wife, you know, you had darshan directly. You see Krishna himself. And what I could not do, Krishna did. So this book, Gita Govinda, is inspired by Krishna, written partly by Krishna. Krishna's Mahabharata dear devotee, Jayadev Goswami. It's revealing especially how Krishna has to subdue the jealous anger of Radharani. We think in this world that if a woman is jealous or angry, it is not good, right? Women should always be subservient. They should be, a wife should be very pleasing and try to serve the husband. This is Swakiya Ras like in Dwarka or Ayodhya. But in Vrindavan, Parakiya Ras, Radha and her Sakis are always very contrary. Vamya Bhava. And Krishna's relishing this more than hearing the prayers of the Shrutis, the Upanishads, the Vedas. He says this whole world is filled with those who worship me in awe and reverence. I'm not so attracted to this. What am I attracted to? I'm attracted to the simple, sweet love of the Brajvasis. They don't see me as the Supreme Personality of God. They only see me as their beloved, their friend, their son. So Krishna is very pleased to hear Gita Govinda. Jagannath loves to hear Gita Govinda. And for us, as sadhakas, we have to become qualified to hear Gita Govinda. Otherwise, because of the intimate pastimes explained in the Kunja Seva, that it may have an opposite effect. It's the same way of hearing any rasa katha, like Govinda Lila Amrita, Krishna Bhavanamrita, even 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If we hear with faith, under guidance from proper authorities, then it has a purifying effect and taking lust out of the heart. But if we hear in a contaminated state, or in a state of still being affected by tamagun, rajagun, then it may inspire lust in the heart. So, our Goswamis have written these literatures. Jayadev Goswami has written this literature. This is the treasure of Gaudias. We should try to qualify ourselves and take high-class association, seek out Vaishnavas who are tasting the mellows of Krishna's Leelas in Vrindavan, and hear from them, and try to inwardly also cultivate a greed, lobha, a desire to follow the residents of Vrindavan. This is Raganuga Bhakti. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. This Gordam is Gordam, Gornam, Gorkam. We are in Gordam, hearing Gornam. Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. All day, everywhere, every kirtan group every month. Everyone's chanting constantly. And you'll find that after some time, the mantra is just going around and round and round in your ear, isn't it? In your head. Your tongue is automatically vibrating constantly. You're always picking up your bead bag. You're always doing kirtan. You're always thinking of Krishna. This is the mercy of Gaur Dham. Gaur Dham is very prominent here. But what is Gaur Kam? Kam is the desire of Gaur. Gauranga Mahaprabhu has a desire to take this Mayapur Dham, Navadvip Dham, and spread the message, the mood, all over the world. That is his Sankirtan movement. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Maharaj is very fond of celebrating his 150th anniversary all over the world. He is the grandfather or great-grandfather of all of us, the founder Acharya of Gaudiya Math worldwide. In his Upadeshavali, his instructions to his disciples, he explains about service to Mayapur. If you read his Upadeshavali, there's so many points. It's in the back of our Gaudiya Giti Guch. One point is service to Mayapur Dham. It manifests in two ways. You heard this? There's two ways to serve Mayapur Dham. No one's heard? New thing. One is to perform Nam Hata, preaching, which means in towns and villages with families, with people, you do programs, you do pandal programs, you do house programs, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu opened up the marketplace of Nam Hata, the holy name, right, here in Sarabi Kunj. So the sannyasis, the preachers, going all over the world, preaching in homes, in different villages and cities, trying to inspire the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayata Dhamma Vrindavanam Ramyuchit Upasana Jabadu Jabar Vilipalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Kumarta Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Tachanada. Essential truths of Gaura is that Sri Krishna, he's our Ishtadev, Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesh Braja Isha. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj. That's our worshipful deity. This Dham is non-different. Vrindavan, Navadvip, non-different from the Supreme Lord. And the process of worshiping the Lord is to accept the moods of the gopis. The moods of the six Goswamis are giving what are the moods of the gopis because they're manjaris themselves, so they're explaining how to worship Radha and Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost evidence for everything we believe. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasami Chaktasya Nanyata Sarati. Sarva Veda Itihasanam Saram Saram Samudita. Of all the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the condensed, juicy, ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge. There is no scripture superior to Srimad Bhagavatam. Veda Vyas, his last contribution is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mahaprabhu himself established this as one of his essential points of Gauravani, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, is that Srimad Bhagavatam is our evidence for all of what we believe, all of what we follow. He himself went every day to Tota Gopinath to hear from Gadadhar Pandit in Jagannath Puri Srimad Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu's doing, but we're not doing. Mahaprabhu himself came as a devotee in Kali Yuga to teach us how to be a devotee in Kali Yuga. So one of the 5 important principles of bhakti is to Shravanam, to Bhagavat Shravan, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prema Pumarta Mahan means that Krishna Prema is the supreme goal of life. Not Artha Kama, Dharma and Moksha, but Prema. So this is Gauravani. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said we can serve Mayapur by two things. The first is to preach Krishna consciousness in every town and village. And what are we preaching? We're preaching Gauravani. We're also describing Krishna's beautiful pastimes. But that is for relishing eternally. Gauravani is for Vaishnava Sarichar, how to act in this world externally. How he acted, how he chanted, how he did kirtan, how he heard Srimad Bhagavatam, how he served the Vaishnavas. So the second point on serving Mayapur is printing books, book distribution. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had a printing press in his house. And he taught his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how to set the letters, how to fix the press, how to run the press, how to print the books. And our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, his mission was built on printing, publishing, and distributing books. So this is our Parakpara Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his instruction on how to serve Mayapur. So Maharaj has left me with all of you. You're very unfortunate today. I came to hear from him.
Please continue.
Huh?
Please continue.
He's very tricky, isn't he?
He wants you to speak more.
Maybe you can say something about Madhavendra Puripad. Today's
Today's his disappearance.
Yes, we're celebrating today his disappearance and also the Puri Goswami Thakur's sannyas initiation, which he took in Champahati.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he was very fond of Champahati.
So, see, by Krishna's arrangement, we spoke about Champahati. Another point about Champahati is in Satya Yuga, there was one Brahmin who was worshipping Radha Krishna with these beautiful champa flowers. So, this is a Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. I can read a little bit about that story also. This is Richard Reed. Champahati is not in Richard Reed. Champahati is. We're having a discussion. There's different opinions of, because it's on the border. Here it is. In our Navadvip Dham Parikram book published by Srila Narayan Maharaj, Champahati is written to be in Koladvip. And some say it's in Richardvip. So, how it became known as Champahati, because of the champa flowers that used to grow there. It's in the southwestern part of Koladvip. Its present name is Champahati. And in Satya Yuga, there was an elderly Brahmin that resided there and worshipped Radha Govinda with all these flowers, these champa flowers. So pleased with his service, Shyamsundar Sri Krishna personally appeared before him as Gaur-Sundar, as a beautiful Gaur-Sundar, and said, in the Kali Yuga, I will manifest in this form that you now see, and you will also take birth and participate in my pastimes. I will be distributing the holy name to all living entities. And that Brahmin in Satya Yuga was born as Dvija Vaninath, the younger brother of Gadadhar Pandit. So in Champahati you see the Gaur Gadadhar deities there. So he is the younger brother of Gadadhar. And in Krishna's pastime, Vaninath was Kamaleka Saki. So the deities of Sri Gaur Gadadhar that Vaninath, Dvija Vaninath, worship, those are still there. Did you go today?
We went 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And that Math, that Gaudiya Math was established by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. So Madhavendra Puri Pad is the spiritual master of Ishvara Puri, who is the so-called spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is the seed or the initial cause or the conjugal mood of Braj Prem to manifest in this world, which is very interesting because normally we think Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is the cause for bringing Braj Prem, isn't it? In Kali Yuga. All the other avatars, all the other Kali Yugas, only Gaur Narayan manifests to start the Sankirtan of the holy name, which is the Yuga Dharma in Kali Yuga. But this is for Aishvarya Prem, not for Madhurya Prem, not for Braj Prem. So, Madhavendra Puripad was responsible for manifesting Giridhari. In Govardhan, he was doing his bhajan, and near Govindakund, in the southern part of Govardhan, Krishna came to him in his dream and said, "Oh, I have been here for so long, covered by earth. My body's very hot. I'm covered by branches, leaves, dirt underneath the ground. You should excavate this area where I'm hiding, because the Muslim invaders came and they protected me by burying me. But now I want you to take me out from this place and establish my worship again." So the next day he called the villagers, Madhavendra Puripad, and they went to that place, and he was told in the dream, and there they found a beautiful deity of Krishna, Giriraj. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Giridhari ki jai. And there they began the first Anukut Mahamahotsava since Krishna's time. And they performed the worship of Giridhari, worshiped the cows, the Brahmin, performed puja, and then offered so much Anukut, big mounds of rice and sabji and dal, all kinds of food preparation. So from that time on, now we have this regular ceremony. Krishna wanted to establish the festival of Govardhan Anukut Mahotsava. So Madhavendra Puripad is the beginning of establishing this festival in modern times. And then Gopal told Madhavendra, "You bathed me with Abhishek, you fed me, I'm very happy, but my body's still very hot. So please go and get some nice chandan from the Malaya Hills, the best quality sandalwood paste, because it will cool my body." So he traveled to Jagannath Puri, and on his way, he came to a place called Ramuna. There, he took darshan of Gopinath, the Gopinath deity, and he saw that the pujaris were offering some very nice sweet rice. So in his mind, he thought, "Oh, if I could offer this sweet preparation to my dear Gopal deity, then he would be very happy." But then immediately in his mind, he said, "No, this is not a good thought. because maybe I'm desiring also to taste this kheer. Right? We were recently there. For the first time I saw Shirkur Gopinath, and we tasted that kheer. It was in the evening, it was very beautiful. And I heard today that this deity, amazing story is that the deity was carved by the arrow of Lord Ramachandra in Treta Yuga. So the deity there is more than 1 million years old. Normally we think, the time of Brajanath, after Krishna's departure, all these deities, Radha Govinda, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath, and Vrindavan, all the major deities, were formed in the likeness of Krishna because Krishna's grandson still had the vision and the memory of exactly how Krishna looks, so they could fashion the deity. But this deity was carved by the lotus hands of Lord Ramchandra himself. Did you know that? Huh? Yeah. And they say in the morning, you can see there's a slab of stone. You can see that on the stone there's also some carvings of the Jamuna, the cows, and some trees, like some kind of landscape of Vrindavan in the stone of the deity. So Madhavendra Puripad left after having this desire, and he did his bhajan nearby. He slept under one tree, and then in the evening, the Brahmins had a dream, and Gopinath said, I have saved one pot of sweet rice for my dear devotee, Madhavendra Puri. Can you please take it to them? So the Pujari woke up, he went there, and he found that there's, I think, 12 or 13 pots they offer. And maybe they didn't count them that day, because there was one that was hidden under the cloth of Gopinath. So he was so amazed. The deity himself spoke in a dream, the deity himself stole the sweet rice, therefore he's called Shir Chor Gopinath. Chor means thief. He stole the kheer, he stole the sweet rice for his dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. Now you go take this sweet rice, you go find Madhavendra Puri. So the priest went out, oh Madhavendra Puri, where are you? He said, yes, that's me. Here, this is from Gopinath. He wants you to have this sweet rice. I say, oh my God. I had this desire, I did not say anything, I did not ask for anything. And see Krishna, you see how Krishna reciprocates with those who are surrendered. When we really have a deep desire to serve, Madhavendra Puri did so much service, always serving, always absorbed in the loving moods of Giridhari, of Gopal, of Vrindavan, of Govardhan, now the deity. Jai Maharaj Ji ki Jai. So he's asking Madhavan about some pastime of Madhavendra Puri. We're just telling the pastime of Shir Chor Gopinath. And Madhavendra Puri receives his pot of sweet rice, and when he tastes it, he feels so amrita. This is like heavenly, so wonderful. And he takes not only the sweet rice but the pot and breaks it into little pieces, takes it with him, and every day he's taking one little piece. But he thinks if in the morning when all the villagers come and everyone comes and they know that the deity stole the sweet rice from me, what will they do? You see one Maharaj when he walks, how everyone falls down, right? Only because they don't even know him. Because he has this cloth, they're bowing down. If they know him, he's a great personality. We all know Maharaj's great personality, then we still bow down. But if Krishna steals sweet rice like this and gives it to a person, then he's Siddha Mahapurush, he's such a great personality. Everybody will come. So Madhavendra Puri doesn't want this. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundaram. Doesn't want followers, doesn't want prestige, doesn't want position. So he quickly runs away. And he goes to Jagannath Puri, and there he acquires from the priest of Jagannath Puri some fine chandan. And they bring it back, and on his way back to Mayapur, again he stops in Ramuna, and there he has a dream. Gopinath says, no need to carry this heavy burden all the way back to Vrindavan. You can give to Gopinath because Krishna is one. If Gopinath is pleased and his body is scented with chandan and cooled, then I am cooled. So Madhavendra Puri gave the sandalwood to the priest there, and they gave it to Gopinath. Shir Chor Gopinath ki jai. Madhavendra Puri Pad ki jai. Champakahati ki jai. Gop Premanande.
Very nice. You have done it. Without you, I cannot manage everything. The two programs. With your help.
I'll fill in for you anytime you want, man.
Huh?
I can fill in for you anytime.
Every night in class, 4:30 to 6:30.
Huh?
4:30 to 6:30. Yeah,
4:30 to 6:30? Okay.
Tomorrow I will not be there because tomorrow I am Gogru Mandal Parikram. Means I am going to Kalna.